welcome back to another episode of Filthy Hope. If it's your first time, welcome. We're so glad you could join us. On this show, we spend time in the grey spaces where Jesus, life and culture intersect. I'm your host, Jonty, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Rev Ness.
How are you, brother?
I'm good. I was just saying that I've been sleeping really well recently, but last night I had my first dodgy night of sleep in a while. So I'm a bit groggy, but I've
you've got your Red
I've
Bull.
got the Red Bull ready.
Set, brother.
So in 5 minutes, I'm going to take off.
This will be Jonty.
Yeah, you can listen to this episode at 0.75 speed.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Oh, mate. Well, I hope you get a good one tonight because we're going to drain your brain today.
Yeah. This is, the first episode we've recorded back in the studio since almost probably over a month ago now.
Incredible.
Which we're going to get into why.
Yeah, and you've come back with this new status.
Yeah. People that are watching can see that on my left hand now.
Yeah, he's actually married, friends. He's like a proper official husband.
Locked down.
Yeah, fully locked down by that beautiful buxom bride of yours.
Which we're going to get.
We are.
That's our topic for today is weddings and marriage.
Yes, I can't wait to drill into that. I'm going to interview you for once.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Me too.
To get into that. Before we dive in, our next live show is coming up really soon on June the 22nd. The wonderful folks at Turramurra Uniting are hosting us again.
Love that. Feels like a home away from home.
Yeah. And massive, I don't know if we've actually ended up covering this on a recorded episode yet, but huge thanks to Borkham Hills for hosting us at our last one with Ali Robinson.
How good was that one?
Phenomenal.
Oh, yeah. A good venue too. It was amazing.
Yeah, so we'll definitely we'll go back there at some point and do another live podcast at Borco because we love.
If they'd like to have us.
Yeah, if we didn't ruffle too many feathers.
I don't think so. I think we're good.
I think Ali probably ruffled more feathers than either of us did.
Yeah, she was good.
Yeah.
Great interview.
But yeah, June 22nd. We're going guestless this time. We're going to do some audience interaction more so than we normally do. So come along to that one.
Spice it up in a different kind of a way.
That's right. So as usual, jump on the RSVP link, which is down below. It's the same link for all of our shows that we just update it with the new show every time, just so we know how many people to feed. Because we'll be doing dinner as well, June 22nd. We haven't done this in a while. I thought we could do Event Central.
I think that's a great idea. Can you play the music though?
Absolutely. So Ness, what's grinding your gears?
Well, I had this thing. We had Rob's sister, whose name is Vanessa, come over from the US to stay with us you were on your honeymoon and I had 4 days leave that I took to spend with her, which was really fun. And we were planning on going to Mudgee for a couple of nights to show her Mudgee. Anyway, she ended up having to go back to the US for a surgery earlier than she thought. And so we'd done these intense couple of days with her and it was really happy but intense, when you've got family and lots of managing relationships and all of that, which was really happy and great, but we don't get to see her a lot. So it's sort of like we have to start the relationship kind of again. It's sort of interesting. Rob and Vanessa share a dad. They share the same dad, but they share a dad 15 years apart. And
oh, wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's super interesting.
Is she 15 years younger?
Yeah, she is. Yeah, so it's a big story and probably worthy of a chat in another time.
Yeah.
That breeds a little bit of family. There's family angst around that.
Sure.
Anyway, that's not what I'm grinded about.
Yeah.
Is that the thing, grinded?
It is now.
Anyway, it feels like a rude word, that one, but anyway.
Yeah.
Isn't Grindr a thing that gay people do?
Oh, well,
An app?
So Grindr is the gay Twitter. Tinder is what I meant to say.
Yeah. So I wasn't using grinding as in that.
No.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Anyway, my gears were pissed off. Is that better?
Sure.
Because, so we get really excited, drop Vanessa at the airport and we're going to head out to Mudgee for a couple of nights, just the two of us, just to kind of just get our heads around and we're on leave. So neither of us had been to Mudgee before. And we from Bilgola, we're heading out along Mona Vale Road, and it is pissing down on Thursday, Jonty.
Yeah.
It was pissing down like it was going to be 50 mils that day, the news kept saying. And I'm thinking, that sounds like a lot. Well, it was such a lot. We got to St Ives and there was trucks on the road that were directing traffic because water had started to fill up on a part of Mona Vale Road up to like the base of where our door was. And we had to form one line of traffic, and it's, you know, when your windscreen wipers are going dun, 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 and you still can't see.
Yeah.
And drive through the water. And in my brain I've gone, the news always says don't drive through water, don't drive these. They're directing us through all this massive water. And we got through that part and got a little bit further up the road, and it was just the biggest amount of rain I think I have possibly ever seen. And like it hurt my ears in the car. It was that loud, right? And I said to Rob, babe, I don't think we should go to Mudgee. And he said, oh, yeah, I'm bloody going to Mudgee. I said, buddy, I've been looking forward to going to Mudgee for however many weeks, and now I want to go to Mudgee. Please, we've got to go to Mudgee. Oh, I'll drive if you don't want to drive. And I said, it's not about driving. I'm just worried about our physical safety, and it's going to take all day to get there. And I think this is a nightmare, and I don't think it's a good decision. Well, mate, Rob's gears were grinded.
Grinding.
We had this huge fight, and I had to pull over, and I said, babe, come on, just get rational for a minute. Just start thinking. Park your emotions and let's get thinking. I said, we're both tired. It's been a really tough 5 days. Let's just turn around and go and cancel that. He agreed. We turned around. 40 minutes later, we were home. And then he went straight to bed. It's 11 o'clock and he slept till 5:30 that day. Deep sleep with exhaustion.
And as in 5:30 in the morning?
PM. He just slept.
11?
In the day.
Oh, sorry. I was thinking 11
for the whole day.
Yeah,
That's how buggered he was. And I just sat on the lounge and watched Netflix, and I can't even tell you what I watched. I can't remember. That's how buggered I was. I just sat there like some kind of zombie. Didn't sleep, just stared.
Yeah.
I can't even tell you. I have, for the life of me, Jonty, I don't remember.
You're just shattered.
Shattered, absolutely shattered. So the weather has been grinding my gears, like it's been grinding Sydney's gears, but we should not complain because we're not on the North Coast.
Yeah.
And I'm not a bloated cow, not getting hay. Do you know what I mean? Floating dead in a lump of water, and I feel like a loser for actually being shitty about the weather. But you know when you look forward to something and then it just doesn't happen?
Yeah,
it was
I
a
know
bit of
the
a
feeling.
thing.
Yeah.
It was a thing.
I mean, for us, we were, and this might actually be a good segue, we were in tropical climate for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And we got on a plane home at, I think our flight left at like 1 in the afternoon. It's, 33 degrees and humid outside. So we're in shorts and T-shirt and we're like, we better bring a hoodie because it's probably going to be cool in Sydney. We land in Sydney at like 6:30 a.m. on that Monday.
So you did a red eye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But went from like tropical to 13 degrees
Yeah.
and, like you say, pissing down. And it was like,
that was
this sucks. Can we just go back? Like,
Welcome home, Jonty and Claire.
Yeah, and then that was you know those like post-travel days where it often happens where it's like I've just got to try and stay awake all day, get through it so that I can sleep and my body clock will
Adjust.
realign.
Yeah.
So that Monday was
Just written off.
a bit of a shocker.
Yeah. Oh, sorry you came home to that.
Yeah, that's right.
It's, yeah.
Like you say, like there are so many worse problems.
Oh, yeah. It's just, we're just being bitchy adults,
Yeah.
aren't we? Play the music. Well, Jonty, we are so glad that you're back, and we want to know about this wedding. I just want to sort of like dive in and know all the details.
Yeah.
I think our listeners want to know all the details. There's nothing like a wedding. If you're going to get an invitation as an adult, it's not to a 30th birthday party. I don't think it's even to a 40th, 50th or 60th birthday party, because I've been invited to all of those. I'm telling you, it's a wedding. They are just, I think it's the event of your life to go to a wedding and to be at a wedding of people that you love and to be in the wedding. So, Jonty, I just want all the details. I want to know, tell me, does it feel different now that you're actually married to Claire?
A few people have asked me that, and the short answer is no, but the longer answer is like, yeah, sort of.
Okay.
And for context for people that may not know, my wife and I have lived together for, it was 3.5 years before we got married. So that's important context because often a lot of the big change with marriage comes with moving out of home and learning how to live with your partner. We kind of had already got a lot of that stuff practiced and down. The thing that did feel very, very different almost immediately, and I mean like just got married, signed the certificate, walked back down, confetti, turned the corner. I was like, oh, I'm not stressed anymore. Like
big exhale.
Yeah, because anyone that has been a part of a wedding, whether it's their own or planning someone else's, knows just how long and exhaustive wedding planning is.
Yeah.
And so it was. It really shocked me because my brain had like learnt to be in what I was calling list mode.
Yeah.
I just had lists that I was checking off
daily.
And it was like, oh, no more lists, like no more jobs, like everything's done. And so the biggest thing that felt different almost immediately, and then for like 2 weeks, was it just felt like I had brain space again. Like it was just, we could just relax, which was, yeah.
And it's a lot to hold, isn't it?
Feeling.
You know, when you're talking about all the lists and the idea of the juggling of the two families coming together and all the needs of all the people with extra special needs, like your aging grandparents and aging aunties and uncles and
that was definitely part of it.
Accessing wheelchair access and all that stuff that falls into your responsibility for the day, when really you need to only just be responsible for you and Claire and these major vows that you're going to make with one another. It is such a lot to hold, isn't it? It's a massive gig. Tell me, can we go to the ceremony?
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
Can you start with getting ready? Because you looked hot, can I just say? I don't know if that's responsible for me to say that. Is it
I'll take it.
Absolutely classy, $1 million. So can you give us a lead up, the prep, and how did I want all the emotional details, and you often don't give all of that. I want you to squirrel in.
Sure. The wedding was at Wollombi, at a venue in Wollombi, which is in the Lower Hunter Valley. So because it was a location wedding, that meant that us and our bridal party all stayed together on location the night before and also the night of, which means that the day of, we didn't have to travel. We were all already there. So the morning of was like, breakfast, like with everyone.
Yeah, how cute.
And then the guys and the girls
separated.
So there's like a big barn with a bunch of beds, and then the bridal suite is just around the corner separate. So makeup was happening in the bridal suite just around the corner, and the guys were in the barn. We had a bunch of other stuff still to do in terms of getting the venue ready that morning. So while they were doing makeup, we were kind of running around setting up some stuff for the ceremony, but also for the reception venue. But it was strangely not that stressful because we had a list. Yeah. And we're just checking stuff off the list. And
and you've got all that anticipation, haven't you? The excitement. It's like Christmas Eve on steroids.
Yeah. And I'm doing it with
your mates, your besties.
My two best mates and my brother. So like it was great. And then so we did a first look which
Tell me how that went.
I don't know why I was reticent initially to do that because it felt a little bit performative, but it totally wasn't.
No.
Like the photographers, we had 2 photographers there, captured like the first moment and then they pissed off.
Can I just ask you, it's the first look of each other, isn't it?
Yeah. So after breakfast, I then didn't see Claire
Till she was ready.
until she was all like in the
Gear.
in the dress. So they walked me in backwards.
Are you dressed? You're all in your gear?
Yeah. So by that point, we'd gotten in our
all
our
the
suits.
boys in their gear. Girls are all ready.
There's still other, like, I don't think I had the boutonniere on. I don't think I'd put my tie on yet, but like I was in the suit. So they backed me in, like walking backwards through the bridal suite, and then they all pissed off and turn around, photos, and then they all left as well. So Claire and I just had 3 or 4 minutes just to say good day and chill out for a bit.
How did that feel? Tell me about that.
I mean, pretty incredible. People ask me, I genuinely had no idea I had no preconceptions as to like what sort of a dress she had found, like what she'd be wearing, other than, it's probably going to be a dress and it's probably going to be white. But like, so a lot of it honestly was like appreciating how epic the dress was, and our female listeners will appreciate this especially. It had pockets.
Love that.
So a lot of it was just like, check out these fucking pockets. How
Did
sick
she
is that?
love the pockets?
Yeah, loved it. Yeah.
And can you describe the dress for our listeners? Otherwise, I'll step in.
Yeah. So, what's the best way of describing? So, like a strapless, backless.
Yes.
Is that the right way of describing it?
Yep.
Quite a not tight is the right word, but like trim contained top half.
Yeah.
And then a long flowing like
really Cinderella-y.
Yeah.
Beautiful white.
And with like a veil that was attached to her hair that went backwards that then
flipped forward.
Yeah,
Did she have her hair in a bun? A big bun? Or was
I'm
it
trying
down?
to remember now. Gosh, that's really bad. I actually can't remember.
Oh.
I think it was in like a bun, and then it I think it then came out later for the reception.
Down.
Yeah.
And so when you first saw her, did you see her? Did she put the veil over her face?
No.
At any point, just attached at the back?
I actually don't think she had the veil for the first look.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just attached it for the wedding.
Yeah.
And then when she came down, she didn't do any veil in front of her face, just attached to the back of her hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So cool.
Yeah. And then
did her dad walk her down the aisle?
both parents.
Mum and dad.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. How beautiful.
Yeah.
Tell me, as that's setting up, Jonty, for that next big moment, so you've seen Claire and can you share the words that you said to her?
I genuinely can't remember because it's a bit of a blur. Like at the first look, you mean?
Can I just say, mate, you are better on a book review than you are reviewing your own wedding.
Well, I think because I have really clear memories of the first look. I have no idea what I said.
What you said, yeah.
No idea.
So much going on, isn't there?
Yeah. I think because it's
incredible.
quite an intense emotional experience.
So were you awestruck and speechless?
A little bit speechless, yeah. But then, we had 4 or 5 minutes to just
Breathe
hang out together and breathe and chat and
check each other out.
Yeah. Just
she was
make sure we were
drop dead gorgeous. She just looked like she was just such a beautiful Cinderella-y bride. Yeah. And you looked very handsome.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was wearing a like a dark green, because everyone always asks me.
Yeah.
I've come to realize that because I've been told like no one's going to be looking at you or your groomsmen.
That's not true.
People really wanted to know, like, so what are you going to be wearing? So
Yes.
I was wearing a dark green, like really, really almost black dark green suit
Stunning.
with a black tie, and my groomsmen were wearing the same black tie but with like a light grey suit.
Yeah, wow.
And the black tie, belt, shoes matched the black dresses that the
Girls wore.
Yeah,
the bridesmaids
were
look
wearing.
stunning. It's lovely watching that black bridesmaids. It's a very elegant, sophisticated, old Hollywood vibe, actually. It was beautiful.
Old Hollywood's a good way of describing it,
gorgeous photos. I'm looking forward to seeing those in any video that you get.
Yeah.
So tell me, so now let's go to the ceremony.
Sure.
Can you is it inside, outside?
Outside. Outside, it's like a flat grassy bit that then behind us drops down a grassy hill to like a bigger grassy plain almost, but like down to a lake.
Yeah,
so the lake is in the background down a hill. And there's like, it's kind of enclosed by pine trees, small little pine tree things. And there's a hedge at the back.
Gorgeous.
That like stops in the middle for like where the aisle begins.
Oh, wow.
Just with some like wooden benches. And there's like a pebbled aisle up the middle. And we got really lucky with the weather. Like the day before in the afternoon when we were doing the rehearsal, we couldn't do it outside because it was raining that hard. But yeah, by the time we got to the ceremony, the sun just
lots of prayers, brother.
showed up. And so Rev Phil Swain and Joe Drayton co-officiated. So both of their signatures are actually on our certificate. Yeah.
Wow. That's cool.
So they kind of together did the welcome and they traded lines back and forth at the beginning. Joe did the quote unquote sermon, which she did an amazing job because our brief to her was, don't think of it as a sermon. We'd rather you share your reflections on what marriage is with us as an example, because Joe knows both of us so well.
Beautiful.
And has been a really, really key person for us in our relationship. So she did that, and then Phil took over and did like the official stuff.
Beautiful.
The vows and the rings and the rest of it, yeah.
So you, with your vows, we watch those shows on TV where they, the Married at First Sight and stuff.
Yeah.
Tell me, did you write your own vows? Did you use vows from the Uniting Church liturgy? Do you remember what you said?
I remember. I don't remember it word for word, but yeah.
What did you promise?
We used so when we did marriage prep with Phil, Rev Phil Swain, he gave us as one of the documents that we went through had like all the stuff that we have to do as a part of the Uniting Church liturgy, but then like a whole bunch of examples of types of vows.
Yep.
And so we went through individually and like highlighted things that we liked.
Great.
Sharpied out things that we were like definitely not.
Yep.
But also like went online and just spent time looking at. And so we basically both came back together and was like, here's what we like, here's what we don't like. Stuff that we had both highlighted from the document. And we're like, well, that's definitely going in. And then it was just like trial and error of like going back and forth and just cooking it down into something that we both were like, yeah, we really like this. Yeah.
Did you do things like submit? Do you submit to each other?
Our people
in sickness and in health?
Listeners who also I do Bible study with, hello guys, we found it completely unintentionally. We were doing Ephesians. We recently finished a season on Ephesians, doing a chapter a week. And the week before we got married, we did Ephesians 5.
Up he comes.
Which is instructions for Christian households, which has the famous or infamous wives submit to your husbands. And,
So Claire got the message. She sorted herself out.
Yeah. No, we actually used Ecclesiastes, which is if you're interested, I can pull the whole thing up, but it's Ecclesiastes chapter 4 somewhere, I think, which is includes a cord of 3 strands cannot easily be broken, and just a really beautiful image of what life, like sharing a life with someone, looks like. So
that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, so great, Jonty. And so you share these promises together, and then you exchanged rings.
Yep.
And then how did Joe announce or did Phil announce?
Joe had actually announced because Phil had done
his bit.
and whispering our vows to us
Yeah.
line by line. Joe announced it, and then
Did everyone clap and cheer?
yeah.
Went off.
Went off. It was great. And then the party started.
And then, hang on, you go and sign some stuff.
Yeah.
You wandered over?
No, so we'd signed.
Oh, you'd signed?
And we came
back.
back.
Then she announced, yep.
And then she announced, and
Beautiful.
we went up the aisle. Yeah.
And did they
together.
throw stuff?
Yeah. People threw stuff, and we actually had 4, I think, confetti cannons that we strategically chose who to give them to.
Was that fun?
It was great. And so halfway or 2/3 of the way up to the back, we stopped, had another smooch. And
Bang.
And then bang. And then.
Oh, how wonderful. Photo opportunity.
Yeah. And I've seen photos from people's phones at that point in which I can see where the photographer was. We haven't got photos back at this point. I just based on where I can see the photographer was for that moment, I'm sure those are going to be some pretty epic photos.
Gorgeous. Yeah. Nothing like confetti. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. And so from that moment, did Phil do anything in the ceremony that talked about the parents and friends and committing to care for you as a couple or anything like that?
Yeah. So after the bit where Phil goes, do you promise to blah, 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 and I say I will, and likewise for Claire, it then we included, so do you, the gathered family, friends and important people for Jonty and Claire, promise to blah, 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 and
support them.
Everyone went,
hell yeah. Oh, isn't it great? Yeah, it's beautiful. I love that part. It's one of my favourite parts. And so then are they calling you Mr. and Mrs. Cornford?
Yeah.
They are. Yeah, Claire's taken your name?
Yes. Largely for logistical reasons, for work as well, so she can be professionally known as her maiden name.
Yep.
And then legally be Cornford.
Yep. That's good.
Just so students and people like that, there's a bit of separation there.
Yeah, it's great. It's excellent. Really clever.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So then you go out and have some photos.
Yeah. Then we, this is probably actually the most stressful part of the whole day was,
It's a lot,
getting
isn't
all the
it,
photos
that bit?
done. Yeah. So we went off with the photographer just with the bridal party for a bit to get photos of
just the cluster?
the bridal party.
Yeah.
And then, we didn't get through nearly as many photos as we wanted just with like people that were there, just because there's like
so
many and
time.
And it took a while to get the photos that we needed to get with the bridal party as well. But yeah, so during that time was cocktail hour, where there was like an outdoor bar area with canapes, and people got to play some games and walk around the lake and just.
But I also noticed that you went from wearing your bougie shiny shoes into like really cool joggers.
Yeah, so
what's that story?
After that section where we exclusively photos, we went back to the bridal suite and just had like 2 or 3 minutes to like
breathe, have a
breathe. And Claire was determined to not have to wear heels the whole time because you can't see her shoes in the dress. So she switched over into some comfy like runners.
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, if you get to do that, I want to do that too. So I actually, I'm not wearing them today, but people that are watching, I'm wearing white Air Force Ones.
Yeah.
I got a pair custom made with the same color as my suit.
Love that.
In the Nike swoosh and on the heel. And
Didn't
also
even know you could do that.
Yeah. And also got the date sewn into the heel.
Oh,
as well.
Jonty, that's so special.
So it says 3525 on my heels.
It's a bit like girls have Louboutins with the the beautiful red underneath.
Yeah.
That they're the expensive wanky shoe.
Yeah.
And you've gone and had some wanky joggers.
Yeah. So
Right.
and I mean, I like a dress shoe, but like
Yeah, you like a good kick, that's for sure.
so switched into those and came out and joined. I think at that point a member of staff from the venue actually came up and met us at the bridal suite and handed us a plate of canapes because we hadn't really eaten.
Starving since breakfast probably.
So we for like 3 or 4 minutes were just hoovering food.
Yeah.
We were so hungry. And then we went and met a few more people before we went into the reception.
Yeah, how lovely. Wow.
Yeah.
And so then you go, is it dark by then? getting into nighttime?
So because it's in a valley in the Hunter as well, so the sun disappears by 5:15.
Yep.
So I think it's like by 5:30. I think everyone was ferried into the reception venue. And we did like actually the two guys that MC'd, one of which Will has been on this show before actually, but our friends Will and James MC'd.
Great MCs,
and
mate.
They had this plan for a piece of music that was, I don't know the joke, but it's a Hamish and Andy thing where they had like edited their names into it instead of Hamish and Andy, and they were going to enter to that because of the reception situation in where we were. We couldn't get the download working properly.
Oh, bugger.
So instead, they went into the reception. So us and our bridal party are still out. We haven't come in yet. We're sort of peeking through the side so we can see what's happening. They blasted the Channel 9 Wide World of Sports theme as they came in, like high-fiving everyone. And it was so funny. And then, they introduced themselves and blah, blah, did some funny stuff, and then introduced us, and then the bridesmaids and the groomsmen came in ahead of us, and then we came in and we had like a champagne tower. So we did that, and there's music playing and stuff, so we did that, and then
that's cool.
high-fived everyone up to the front of the table. And
I've never seen that done before. That's awesome. Do people then go and take a champs?
Some, but it's not a huge tower.
Yeah.
There were 107, I think, in the end, guests.
Yeah,
there were not 107.
And how do you actually do that? Where do you pour into
the
top?
So they had like, there was probably 5 by 5 on the bottom layer.
Yeah.
Up to 1 at the top, and we both had a bottle of champagne and we both just poured it into the top. And it tips down trickles down into all of the other ones.
And doesn't go all over the ground?
A little bit, but like not heaps.
Oh, that's
most
cool.
of it goes in there. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Oh, I can't wait to see a photo of that. That looks you did very old world Hollywood.
Yeah.
Didn't you?
Yeah.
Very bougie.
Yeah. And then actually this was one of my favourite bits, and Claire kept this from me. She went to like Kmart or something, I guess, and got those, those like iron-on letters?
Yes.
She had like a black denim jacket that she wears fairly regularly and had ironed on in that like American high school font, like jersey font.
Yep, I know exactly what you mean.
A last name on the back of that jacket, and so I put it on, and I was like, oh, that's a weird jacket. And then she turned around and showed everyone that. And I was like, sick. It was pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, and the fact that she'd managed to keep that a secret until like I saw it for the first time sitting
that
down
night
at reception.
And she's got a black jacket over her pretty white dress, and the girls are all in black.
Yeah.
And the font's in white.
Yeah.
Amazing. That's really well put together.
Yeah, and so then dinner, some speeches. Instead of a cake, we did a cannoli tower.
Ooh, yes.
And then also some like dessert canapes and stuff. So speeches from both parents, a speech from our siblings. So Claire's sister and my brother did a speech together, and then the 2 other bridesmaids and my 2 other groomsmen did speeches as well.
Fun, knowing your people. That would have been fun set of...
Yeah, everyone spoke really well, and then...
lots of laughs.
Lots of laughs. And then, cannoli tower, dessert, dance floor.
And partied on for hours.
Lots of drinking and dancing
joggers.
and fun.
And comfortable.
That's it. We were both like,
so comfy.
Our feet are so comfy.
Yeah. And she's in a princess frock comfy.
Yeah.
Like that just doesn't happen.
Yeah. So it was heaps of fun, and I always found it a little bit cheesy when I'd hear people say, "Oh, your wedding day should be like the best day of your life," but like it actually was just fun. Like
so fun.
I'm really glad that it wasn't like the stress didn't creep
Spill
in.
over.
Like there was a bit of like some nerves in the morning, and like that hour or so after the ceremony when we had to like get all the right shots that we wanted on the shot list that we had, and with light fading, and that was a bit stressful, but like by and large, it was just like fun.
Yeah. And you've got all your people there. Yeah. And it's like in one room. It's super awesome. Yeah. Both the families, it's incredible.
The thing I forgot to say actually, my dad's family, most of them are in Perth. Yep. So a handful of them made it over. But my 2 cousins on that side, neither of them could make it. One of them, because our wedding actually happened to be on election day. on the 3rd of May.
Oh, yes, it was.
And one of my cousins, has recently she works as a journalist for the ABC, and recently at the time had been given the opportunity to be chief political correspondent for the ABC for WA.
Wow.
So she was busy that day, to say the least. But what we did do is we got her to record like a fake live cross.
Oh, excellent.
With audio, which we played as one of the speeches.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I will, I might see if I can find it and add it in.
You must. That's hilarious.
So if I've been able to find it in my backlog of emails, it'll play now.
Good evening. ABC News state political reporter Courtney Withers here, crossing live into the wedding of Jonty and Claire. And we have an important update from some developing news I've just received. Opposition leader Peter Dutton has confirmed he will buy something on the registry, but when pressed, he hasn't identified what he intends to buy nor how he intends to pay for it. He's just said the costings are better and he's promising to release them soon. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has bought the newlyweds personalised Medicare cards that even have their names printed on them. And as for the legalised cannabis party, well, you know what they've promised. Do not eat the wedding cake. Back to you at the wedding.
So that went down a treat as well, mostly because as well of the context it being
election
night.
Day. Yeah, that's right.
But like you can imagine,
half the people know her.
Well, and almost none of them knew her actually.
Oh no, but your family do.
Oh yeah, but only half of
only half,
a quarter of my family now, really.
Yeah, right.
None of my friends have met her because she lives in Perth.
Yeah.
So it was pretty funny. But then I managed to literally not see anything election related all day, and so it wasn't until the next day at breakfast.
We didn't miss anything.
We were like, so what happened with the election? Yeah.
So, it's excellent. Oh, wonderful.
Cool.
What a beautiful recollection of all of that. And maybe if you get some photos at some point, you might want to share.
Yeah, I'll share some photos.
Yeah, it's so cool. Did you go away straight away?
No, so the wedding was on Saturday. Sunday morning we did some last few, we had breakfast with everyone and then everyone sort of started to leave. And by everyone, that's bridal party and partners. It's all stayed at that same place overnight.
So cool.
So the next morning on the Sunday, we had breakfast with those people. Packed the rest of the venue down, and then we went and met up with some that Perth side of family had all stayed in the same place. So we met them on the way out, had some lunch there.
Nice.
And then Claire and I we got engaged in the Hunter. So that's why we decided to get married where we got married. So we spent the rest of the afternoon going around to a couple of wineries and having some lunch and just enjoying the Hunter. Got home Sunday evening and then had Monday at home.
Beautiful. Was that lovely?
It was needed, I think.
Yeah, just so buggered, right?
Yeah, we were just we just hung out at home, and then Tuesday morning we flew. Yeah.
And as an introvert, which you are, and I know friends that listen probably don't even know that, it's just an absolute emotional, social battery drain, isn't it?
It is. I was surprised, I think, I was drained, but not nearly as much as I thought I was going to be.
Yeah, beautiful.
I think because everyone is there celebrating me and my wife, it didn't feel like it was a toll socially.
Nice.
I was buggered, but didn't feel like, oh, thank God I get to be by myself.
That's a different thing, isn't it? Yeah.
So we got to read through the guest book and
so much joy.
Just kind of relax for a bit on Monday, which was good.
And then just load another suitcase and off you go.
Yeah, and off we went. We went to Thailand flew on that Tuesday and landed Monday, 13 days later. So
wow, so it was a good holiday.
Yeah, I think it was a good choice to do 2 weeks instead of one.
Definitely.
I think that after that first week, you've only just really gotten into holiday mode.
Yeah.
I often find.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just wound right down.
Yeah.
So if we shift gears to now Thailand,
Yeah.
have we got time?
Yeah, we got heaps of time.
We've got some
Yeah.
time to talk about Thailand?
We got heaps of time. So we were decided not to go to Bangkok. We went to Chiang Mai for, I think it was 5 days, and then Phuket for 8 days.
I've never been to Chiang Mai. Tell me about that.
Chiang Mai is really interesting. Chiang Mai as a city was founded in like 1300 and something. So it's now from what I understand from having been there now, a fairly standard metropolitan city in Thailand. But at its center there's the ancient city, which if you look at a map, there's literally a big square that's like a man-made canal almost, or like moat.
Yep.
Inside which is where the ancient city was, and you can see there's big chunks of brick wall that are still there that are like half fallen down. They're almost ruins of like the ancient city that was founded
Incredible.
like hundreds and hundreds of years ago, and it's just next to like a 7-Eleven. So like it's a really strange, a little bit similar to I found it obviously very different, but a similar feeling to when you walk around Buenos Aires in Argentina. There's like
Antiquity
next to like modern skyscraper
service
stuff.
station.
No, but also like in the architecture, there's giant modern skyscrapers next to neoclassical gargoyles and stuff.
Incredible, isn't it?
So it's this really weird clash of modernity and, in the case of Chiang Mai, like the ancient world.
Yes.
It's really, really strange. So in Chiang Mai, we were at a really nice hotel that was recommended to us by some friends. But like we were within walking and the Thai equivalent of Uber, which was very, very cheap, of just heaps and heaps and heaps of like temples or wats, as they're called. So we went and looked at lots and lots and lots of those, did a lot of walking just around the ancient city, looking at temples and stuff, but also lots of amazing food at the hotel. We didn't roll the dice on too much street food because we didn't want to have
angry guts.
As our godson, this is one of our favourite new phrases, woke up one morning and said to his mum, "My bum feels sad." Oh. So now we refer to the way we refer to it is we didn't want to have sad bums. Time. Yeah. Sad bum time isn't something you want. So we largely avoided sad bum time in Thailand.
That is
which is
excellent.
Great. Yeah.
Which is actually quite an achievement because it's hard to do that.
Yeah, and like you don't drink tap water.
Nope.
And then 8 days at a resort in Phuket.
Wow,
so
Jonty.
Lots of just swimming and
super humid.
Read a bunch of books and ate lots of food and drank lots of beer because it's cheap as.
Yeah. Did you feel safe?
Yeah. Never really felt the most unsafe, and even then I hesitate to use the word unsafe. It was more just like, oh, this is a bit different. Is when you're on the road.
Yeah.
We used it's called Grab instead of Uber. We used Grabs a lot, but also we were driven places by like shuttles and things attached to the what we'd booked.
Yep.
Lane marking's very much just a suggestion.
Yes.
I remember driving back to the airport on the way home back from the resort to Phuket airport. Like 3 or 4, I say 3 or 4 lanes because who knows how many lanes it actually is. Pretty heavy traffic, and in the left lane, there's bikes and scooters going in the opposite direction.
Oh, it's a head wreck, isn't it?
weaving through traffic, heading like towards them. So it's pretty wild. So we'd been told many times by people like, don't hire a bike or a scooter. Like it's because even if you don't injure yourself that bad, you go down and you graze your knee, you can't swim. Yep. Unless you're covering it up.
Crazy, crazy the traffic in Asia, in lots of Asian cities.
Mental. But other than that, we never really felt unsafe.
That's good. That's so good.
Yeah.
Good food. What would you say your highlight of meals that you had? Is there something particular that you really loved that surprised you?
So many good ones. I think in Chiang Mai there's a restaurant in the hotel that we stayed at, and we paid for like the not all inclusive, what's it called when like the set menu thing. we'd also told them, obviously, that it was our honeymoon because we wanted to
milk it.
as many bonuses as we could.
Yeah.
So they brought us even more stuff.
Excellent.
On top of the and all the stuff at that restaurant was kind of Asian fusion.
Oh, how beautiful.
So we did eat some like traditional Thai food, but a lot of it was like Asian fusion stuff. So lots of like red meat that's cooked in a way that you'd expect like Western cuisine. So like lots of like steak and lamb and things like that, cooked amazingly, but with the Thai flavors.
Beautiful.
So that was phenomenal. We also did like an afternoon tea thing where they bring and this big like high stacked thing, they just drop it in front of you and they tell you what everything is, and you have all these little morsely things.
Oh, how beautiful.
For afternoon tea one time. Yeah, it was phenomenal.
Oh,
yeah.
Man, what a great holiday.
Yeah, I will also say there was one restaurant at the resort that did these chicken tacos that were just like...
Just drop dead.
Yeah, they were on the starters menu. Like, I think for one lunch, we just ordered 3 of those each and just ate those. Like, they were so good. Amazing. Yeah.
Oh, isn't it great? I'm so glad you had a great time. Apart from looking a bit tired, you still look really fresh. You look like
I feel fresh. Yeah.
You look great. Good colour. You're looking happy and well.
Yeah, very happy.
And a really sparkling ring.
It's good,
it's
hey.
Gorgeous.
So for people that aren't watching, it's a rose gold ring with like the hammered finish.
It's beautiful.
I've got so this is my wedding ring, but we also both got like backups that are cheap. Like I just have like a sterling silver of the same ring.
Yeah.
That I forgot to, but the plan was like if we travel,
that's what you wear.
Put that one on because
that's clever.
It's not as much of a big deal if you lose it.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's a beautiful ring.
Yeah. So
are you getting used to having it there?
I am because we've talked about it before. I'm a ring guy, so like I'm very used to having rings on my hand. But like, strangely hasn't been that weird to get used to. Like it just kind of feels normal.
Yeah.
So.
How cool. Well, it's official.
It's official.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Has anybody been so rude as to ask you when you're having kids?
Yeah, plenty of people. Yeah.
Oh, that drove me nuts, that bit.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was so offensive.
We did say to our parents and to our bridal party for speeches, because I've been to weddings and so has Claire, where they do this, and I'm not knocking it.
Yep.
It's just not for us.
Yeah.
But like in the speeches and or in the sermon at the ceremony, doing like a blessing of the womb.
Oh dear.
And so we said to all people that were giving speeches, the rule is, if you bless Claire's womb,
you've got to bless your penis. Is that
absolutely.
Right? Yeah, sorry to
I don't want to be
jump
left
right
out.
in there. No, it's a joint blessage.
That's right. So we didn't get any blessing.
Nobody wanted to lay hands on Jonty.
That's right.
Or wrap it in the stole.
Yeah.
That was probably a bit too far.
Yeah, so no blessing of the bits.
Oh,
but
mate.
yeah, heaps of people.
Really? Yeah. I do remember
business.
that. People saying that to me and thinking, far out, man. I've only just got married and you're already getting me knocked up. That's when I started telling people that I was born with no eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I lied about that.
There's a it's probably too rude to say on the podcast, but there's a joke that we tell people if they ask. Now.
Yeah. What good? Yeah.
Can
you say?
I might bleep it, but if people are, like, if people ask, like, you say with a really serious face, "I'm sorry, we actually can't have, like, we've tried, but we can't have kids."
Yeah. Oh yeah, we probably should bleep that.
Because it just makes them feel uncomfortable.
Oh, totally.
Which the question makes us feel uncomfortable, so we think it's fair to just toss it back.
No,
to
that
them.
is fair. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's funny. Yeah, probably should cut that out.
Yeah, I'll bleep it. Yeah.
I would stick with the no egg thing, and I would do it with a really straight face, and that it must have spread amongst the friendship group because nobody ever asked me again.
Yeah.
And then I fell pregnant with Ginger 7 years after we were married, and it was like, it was a Mary moment. It was immaculate conception. I've got a couple of eggs.
Yeah, like, we're very happy just doing the marriage thing first for a bit. Like,
yes. And it's okay. You can be happy with no children as well, you know.
That's right. Yeah. And usually the people that ask aren't the people that we'd tell. if we were pregnant.
No, exactly.
So it's like
That's right.
the people that are
Private.
actually like in our lives
Yeah.
aren't like, oh, when are you gonna have kids? Like,
No, it's funny,
because
isn't
they know us and
Yeah.
they will find out if and when.
And Jonty, it never stops though. I think that's the thing that I learned, because then I had my first child and I had a little girl, and then somebody was quick to say to me, oh, well, maybe the next one you'll have the boy. I can't say on this podcast what language I
Yeah.
used, but I lit them up big time. It's like,
Yeah,
I have just delivered this gorgeous creature, this magnificent part of creation.
It's almost like saying better luck next time.
Yeah,
Like,
it's rude.
Yeah.
It's just so rude in so many ways. It's like, wow, you can beep, beep, beepity, beep, beep. That's
Yeah.
kind of what I said in a big beepage, kind of beeped them.
yeah. Which is fair enough.
Yeah,
Like, it's such a weird question to ask
Oh,
someone.
it's just cruel and wrong.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Thanks.
I think we should play, a wedding song now. Oh, we can't. We're not allowed, are we?
Well,
We can
we
trouble.
can try, but YouTube may not like it.
Shut us down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well done, brother. We're
Thanks.
glad to have you back.
It's good to be back.
Yes.
It's. I've said before when we sat down to record, I've missed doing this.
Yes, I've
It's been a
missed
while.
looking at you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. We're back.
We are back.
Team is back together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's exciting. Is there anything else wedding and marriage related we want to get into before we
I think we've
start to bring this thing home?
we could go super hard and we could dive into, the Ephesians passage, or pull out the classic Corinthians passage and we could hammer that home. But
Maybe that's an into the word.
I think
what do you
so.
reckon?
I think we should do it justice and do it properly
Yeah.
and theologically unpack that. I think it'd be a good one.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it is confusing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Definitely.
And I'll once we get, because at time of recording we haven't got photos yet, but I'll
Yes.
definitely share some photos.
Yeah.
If people are interested to.
Marriage is interesting, isn't it? Because I was recently talking to somebody about wedding, and I often get asked, could I do a wedding? And from people from my life that aren't Christian people. And I have to always explain to them, Jonty, about the two different rites of marriage. The civil marriage.
By rights, RITE rights, right?
Yes, that's it. So the rights of a civil celebrant,
Yeah.
because I'm not a celebrant, I'm a minister marrying under the rights of the Uniting Church of Australia. And having to explain that liturgically there are things that we have to say so that you are married. And that includes having God in the conversation, otherwise I can't marry you.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually not interested in marrying you, really, unless that's a part of the arrangement.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting thing because I don't think people know that.
A lot of people don't. Yeah. It's interesting because I had like friends there that I don't go to church with, like school friends,
Right.
for example, some of which I know aren't Christian, and they were saying things like, oh, it was I didn't realize like a Christian wedding could be so not shit.
Yeah,
we
that's
we
right.
really like,
Yeah.
they didn't use the word bought in, but like they were
Yeah.
like
Invested.
on board and invested
Loved
with
it.
everything that was a part of the ceremony.
Yeah, well, you had two good ministers doing it. So, yeah, absolutely. And it's the way you craft it, isn't it?
Probably because there wasn't any blessing of the womb or
Or your penis.
or submission. Yeah.
That's right.
Which we can get. That might be an into the word as well. That Ephesians 5
Yeah.
thing. But
I went to a high Anglican wedding recently and in Sydney, and I was pleasantly surprised how cool the Reverend actually was. He was amazing and did a very, very outreachy, missional kind of Christian ceremony that wasn't too highbrow. I really enjoyed it. He was as cool as you can get in a high Anglican church. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. And what surprised me though was that couple actually chose to be married in that space, because I didn't know that either of them were terribly into God. And yet God was the central point of their union. How cool is that?
I think, and I think why it was important to us in who we chose is because we wanted not only our vows, but we wanted the whole ceremony to be a reflection not only of our beliefs, but also a reflection of who we are.
Yeah.
So having our minister of almost 10 years and for both of us, someone who's essentially a second mother to us, we've had meals at their house every second week for like 8 years and we go on holidays with them, as well as being deeply involved in ministry with both of them with young adult stuff and church stuff at Turramurra Uniting. They couldn't help but do a Christian ceremony that reflected our beliefs and our theology, but also reflected who we were as a couple, which was our goal. We didn't want it to just be like a cookie cutter. Let's get the God stuff out of the way and then
get down to the cool stuff.
Yeah, it was that was all baked in together.
100%. Yeah, that's right. That's how I like to think I did Ginger and Joel's wedding as well. Made it completely personal. It was every bit was punctuated with personal story and love and God and interweaving of the whole thing. It's wonderful when you can do that.
Yeah.
When you can do that for a couple that you know really well as well. That's super special.
Yeah.
It makes it, and I think those weddings are set apart because of that. Because that's your thumbprint. That's your together. You just come together, and in that moment, it's sort of like sanctified by God in that moment of blessing. You know, did you know that you're actually married when you join hands?
You were talking about this before. Yeah, I did. I actually didn't know this.
Yeah, I didn't either. It's actually the joining of the hands is when the marriage actually takes place. I think that goes back to old Jewish custom or history, but it's actually the joining of hands.
Yeah, see, me and my wife held hands the whole ceremony.
Time. I love that. I love that. Yeah, it's so cool. Well, I think it's wonderful. So congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah. May the next 55 years be amazing and special and tight and blessed, and may you travel an incredible journey together with God at the centre. Always think a threesome is the way to go, Jonty. You, Claire, and the Holy Spirit. Nothing like it. Yeah, it's the elixir of a good marriage, I believe.
Well, and that's partly why the Ecclesiastes passage was what we landed on, because it wraps up with that image of the cord of three strands cannot easily be broken. Yeah.
Yeah. Always just come back to God, always. And there'll be moments where, you know, there's all sorts of stuff that goes on in a marriage, and at the moment it feels like none of what I'm saying is true, but you never know what can go on. You just stay tight and located in the love of God together, and, mate, you'll be a force.
And I think both of us have had such good role models with the people, the married couples that we are really close with, have been really honest and authentic in not presenting themselves to us as close friends as my marriage is always perfect.
Yeah.
It's like we have so many great examples of people who have been married 10 years or people who've been married 30 years who we're really close with that have been really open with, hey, when shit starts to suck, here's how we, but also even before that, being like vulnerable enough to admit that shit sometimes does suck.
Yeah.
Like marriages aren't amazing 100% of the time, but that's why you commit to a marriage, is because that when it does get rough, you have your marriage to lean on.
Yeah.
You have your vows and your commitment to each other. To otherwise, those phases of life can separate you.
Yeah.
And it starts with not feeling bound to having to present we're both perfect people and our marriage is perfect, so you need to be perfect too.
No. That's good.
Because I wonder if, I think we've talked about this before, but I think we have on this show this idea that the church can sometimes turn relationships and marriages into an idol, and then we kind of have this perfect image of like what marriage is and should be, and in some cases has had some really harmful effects in the way people have been not forced. Well, in some some cases, forced to stay in marriages that are harmful to one or both people. And we have this slightly false, idolized version of what marriage should be that doesn't actually engage with the realities of what married life can and does look like. So I think we're both really thankful that we know we've got a lot of life to live together.
Yeah.
Like we're both 26.
Yep.
Like we're young. That we've got so many good role models of married couples who are slightly or significantly older than us that have such great advice and wisdom to share with us.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jesus at the centre, mate. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
And you'll smash it out of the ballpark. Good podcast. I got to interview you today.
Bit of a different one. Yeah,
That was fun.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting me.
No, thanks for asking good questions.
It was
good.
Great
It was
conversation.
nice to kind of walk through it again and kind of relive
Beautiful.
some of it. Yeah.
Do share some photos when you get those.
Yeah, and that's
'Cause
going to
I
be the
know
other
people
opportunity
love to see.
to walk through it again was when we get the photos.
Yes.
We can
Post them up.
Just post them up and look through all the photos again. It's going to be really exciting. Looking forward to it. Yeah. In the time that we've spent away from the studio recording together, have you seen or read anything cool or exciting?
I've read so much, Jonty. I've just finished a uni subject, and so I've been reading. I've been up to my eyeballs in suffering, the theology of suffering, and where is God in suffering and innocent suffering. I read a great book by Rosemary Batty, her story. So I thought I might share that 1 week on the podcast and talk about innocent suffering, how her son died at the hands of domestic violence by his father. And it was a major headline, I think, in 2015 or whenever that was, and share my insights into what I learnt from reading her story. Yeah, she's a fascinating woman and incredibly forgiving heart after what she endured. I just don't know if I could be as gracious as she has been.
I'm keen to read that book.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do an episode on that.
Yeah, it's a good read.
That'll be good.
Heavy read. Have to read it in the daytime because it's too upsetting. You'll cry yourself to sleep. Yeah. Yes. So I've been reading lots. So happy to share on that another time. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
And I've cracked into the forgiveness book that you gave me for Christmas.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Was that the Timothy Keller one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've started reading that at the moment.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Maybe we
got to start preaching on that.
Interesting.
So I think we might use some of the forgiveness book. I could probably do a series into the Word.
Yeah.
It's been really interesting. Very insightful, actually.
Yeah.
Good read.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll talk about Timothy Keller another time. But yeah.
Yeah,
I'm glad you're enjoying it. Yeah.
Yes, I am. And I had to kind of, it was funny, I finished my final essay, handed that in, and then I picked that up to read. It's like, oh, there we go. I can now electively choose whatever I want to read.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad you're enjoying it.
Yes.
That's cool.
Yes, it's great.
Nice.
So thank you.
Yeah. I read too many books while I was away because I had time to just park up and read.
And does Claire read while you read? Do you both top and tail and read together?
Claire's more of a audiobook and podcast person.
Yes.
Big on true crime.
Okay.
I know she was listening to the new Hunger Games novel.
That is meant to be epic. Ginger said
Sunrise
that's
on the
great.
Reaping.
Yes.
Yeah.
My girls have both read that one.
I haven't read the previous one, The Ballad of Snakes and Songbirds, so I probably need to read that before I read the new one. I did see the movie. So I know she was reading that and said it was really good. I haven't read the Hunger Games books since I read them in year 8 or 7 maybe.
Is it that long? Is that when the Hunger Games came out?
That may not have been when the books came out, but I remember going to see the movies as they came out in around that time.
Oh my wow!
Yeah,
that doesn't feel that long ago.
Yeah, 8 maybe. So it's a distant memory. Those books. I probably need to.
Wow, I love
give
that
them
series.
A refresh before going into the new one. Yeah, I read a lot of fantasy. I've been stodging my way through The Wheel of Time, which is a 14-book long fantasy series. It's one of the most famous So Robert Jordan wrote them. He's kind of known as one of the major Tolkien acolytes.
Oh, okay.
So massively influenced by
Okay.
the Middle Earth stuff.
Yep.
So I'm four books into that. I read books 3 and 4 while I was away.
There's 14 in the series.
Yeah, and they're all like 1,000 pages long.
And do they go into the next story?
Yeah,
Do you read them in order?
So far, they're
Okay.
It's, yeah, all
Wow.
chronological. I've also started reading. I've just yesterday started reading the third. So I've decided, because the Wheel of Time got a bit slow for me.
Okay.
After 4 books, I've
park that for a
parked
minute.
it for a bit. I've started reading a modern fantasy series, more of a science fiction-y thing, by Pierce Brown. Red Rising is the first novel. I've just the other day started book 3, which is about it's essentially like a revenge tale, but it's what's the easy way of describing Red Rising? It's humanity have spread to other planets, and there's a class system based on and they're all kind of colors, and red is like the bottom
of
rung.
The rung.
And so the main character is a red, and the reds are basically enslaved on Mars, and he without giving away spoilers, he infiltrates the highest class of people after his wife and his life are killed and everything's taken from him. He, through some plot contrivances, ends up as a gold, and from the inside trying to take it down and get revenge for his people. But it's set across this across the whole solar system. So
Wow.
it's kind of like a really classic revenge tale with like the fantasy kind of like
Wow.
houses and things like that, but taking place in a science fiction kind of world. It's really cool.
I'd have nightmares
enjoying
with that. I don't know how you do it, mate. I watched Mission Impossible.
Oh, so did I. What did you think?
3 hours of heart-thumping stress and anxiety. I sat there kind of curled up in my chair in a state of angst.
Yeah.
Watching, it was 20 minutes too long underwater because I was holding my breath.
Yeah, that
Were you doing
sequence is
that?
pretty
Man.
grueling. Yeah.
I kept finding myself holding my breath
Yeah.
and feeling quite claustrophobic, going, I've got to look away and take a breath. Worried that he's not going to be able to breathe, and oh man, and he got stuck going out through the torpedo exit.
As soon as he saw the torpedo tunnels, it's like he'd better not be trying to get out through. Oh, he is.
Oh, he is.
It's too claustrophobic. That was such an amazing sequence, though.
Whoa.
Yeah.
It was just full on. It was just absolutely epic and delivered. And then the aeroplane.
Oh, man.
Oh, my gosh.
So
I've got no words.
I saw it was from like an evening with Christopher McQuarrie and Tom Cruise. So McQuarrie is the director. And McQuarrie was explaining how in that, like the biplane sequence,
Yes.
which starts with him climbing into a plane and into the second plane, and then
Yes.
ends with him in the other plane with
Yes.
the bad guy. There's a bit where he was just explaining, because people obviously are looking at that going, oh my God, Tom Cruise, amazing actor, amazing stunt performer, and they shot that at 10,000 feet or however high up they are. But the director was explaining there's no camera crew. Tom Cruise is camera operating as well as performing.
It's in front of him. That's right.
So
I saw that rig.
he was explaining how, part of the reason he has to get from one plane to the other is the first plane starts to fall apart. And so there's a camera movement where the focus racks from his hands where he's holding onto to the little bit of structure that's
Flappage.
starting to flap,
Yeah.
and then racks back to the focus racks back to his hands, and then back again as he goes to fix the thing. No one else, he's operating the camera while doing that stunt. So it's not just that he's an amazing stunt performer. He's like, everything about that is so impressive because
It's too disturbing because of that. Because I think when you think it's fake and it's a green screen,
Yeah.
you can relax and think, oh, well, it's fake, but isn't this fun? But because you know that he really did it, made it all the more disturbing.
it's immersive.
And he's on the what did they call that? On the biplane where they walk, they called it was I watched him on an interview walking the
like the
wing
wing
walk,
bit.
walk. And he talked about having to get used to the gravitational force and able to move then as he's dropping G's to massive G's in one direction and then the change of G's and then he could go to the next position.
Yeah.
And he did that seamlessly. And as I watched him do that, I thought, oh, shit, that's clever. You can only be a pilot and know that.
Yeah.
Know your plane so well and know how your body responds under that kind of force.
But that knowledge combined with a knowledge of cinema and
cinematography.
lenses and things like insanity. Pure insanity.
And why hasn't he ever won an Oscar? Like it just feels like a rip-off. Surely he's going to get an Oscar for this.
Well, there is, I think it's in the 2027 Oscars. They're introducing stunt coordination for the first time.
Oh, he needs it. He's extraordinary, regardless of what you think about the dude. He is unbelievable. There was a scene on those two biplanes that were going down through a canyon at the very beginning.
Yeah.
And I know that he is the same director from Top Gun, isn't he?
No.
But he
different dude.
The Top Gun director somehow was involved in this.
Probably,
because of the plane coordination
so
stuff.
It's Joe Kosinski is the director Top Gun Maverick.
Okay.
Yeah.
He must have some involvement because I heard him talking about it in
probably,
an interview. It kind of looked like those canyons in Top Gun.
Yeah.
I was watching as it just kind of looked like it was that same bit of land.
Oh, yeah.
It looked like that.
It could be. Because I know they were shooting, they posted, I don't know if you saw, they posted like a clip of Tom Cruise hanging off that biplane, like promoting the movie, and he goes like, "See you at the movies," and then drops off the plane like 2 years ago. So they were
he said it was years in the making.
That sequence was probably shot 2 or 3 years ago.
Oh, it might have been at the time of Top Gun.
So they might have, it might have dovetailed into if they had the location, for example.
Yeah. He said it took years in the making and planning of that sequence. He said, and he made a comment about having other sequences in his brain already for the next one. Because I think the movie leaves it open, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It doesn't end.
No. Well, it's a nice conclusion of this one and the last one.
Yes.
Because the previous one is now just called Dead Reckoning, but when it came out, it was called Dead Reckoning Part 1. So this was originally going to be Dead Reckoning Part 2, which they've changed the title to The Final Reckoning. But those two, they conceived those two movies as one story. So it nicely kind of
and all the
wraps up
cast, the cast
AI
of many
thing.
years.
Oh, yeah.
All the years of the cast that have been around working the Mission Impossible story.
Yeah.
It's wrapped up that as well.
Well, I'll bleep that. Spoilers.
Shit, sorry.
But yes, yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. And the way it goes into, like it plugs directly into, without spoilers, Mission Impossible 1.
Oh, I know.
In a really interesting way, but also Mission Impossible.
The footage.
And Mission Impossible 3.
35 years he's been doing this.
Yeah.
It was so incredible. Yeah, he needs an Oscar. He really does. It was just so well put together.
I think
so entertaining.
Having your name precede the title or the director is an Oscar in and of itself. Like it's Tom Cruise in Top Gun or
the
Mission Impossible directed by, like, you know, his name is the thing that people go and watch. Like even like who cares if it's Mission Impossible, Top Gun, the Reacher movies, like that he's pretty good in those. Like he's such a I think, and this is probably a whole episode in and of itself, maybe of the movie podcast, but like he's the last movie star.
Yeah.
They don't exist anymore.
He's a big movie star.
In the same way that like as a great example, I don't know if you saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood when that came out in 2019. So it's written and directed by Quentin Tarantino, co-starring Brad Pitt, Margot Robbie, and Leonardo DiCaprio. And it lost at the box office to the Lion King live action remake.
Oh, wow.
30 years, even 20 years ago. Just any of those things, let alone all four of them combined, written and directed by Quentin Tarantino, starring Margot Robbie, Brad Pitt, and Leonardo DiCaprio. The draw of an artist for a project just isn't there anymore. Like you don't go and see movies for Brad Pitt or
No.
for
No, you're right.
in the and Tarantino's argument is that like the star is no longer the actor, but it's the character in the same. Like, so you go and watch Thor.
Right, you do. You go and see Thor
Or Captain America.
or Reacher. Yeah,
But Tom Cruise is the
he's the guy. Yeah.
he's the exception.
That's interesting.
I think he's the last one. But it doesn't matter what he's doing. You just go and watch the new Tom Cruise movie because like, oh, which buildings are you going to jump off this time, or which cliff is he going to ride a motorbike off and do a base jump and land on a moving train?
Yes.
Like, you just go and watch him to do whatever he's doing next.
Yeah.
And you don't do that for anyone else anymore.
Except that I think my only criticism, it's 3 hours
Yeah.
and you run out of food and drink.
Yeah.
And you need a wee. You need a wee part way through. And I reckon that underwater sequence, they could have pulled an intermission, everybody have a wee, get another coffee, get another drink to give yourself a break because it's so exhausting.
I have a funny intermission story. Me and my friend Wilson went and saw Seven Samurai together, which is a Akira Kurosawa movie from 1957, I think it is. It's like a classic samurai movie that is kind of the blueprint for a lot of Star Wars as well. It's 3.5 hours long, but it just goes, like it's paced so well. But at about roughly halfway, I'm like, oh, I'm a bit hungry because the screening started at like midday. So by the time it finished, it was going to be like 4 o'clock. So I was like, I should have brought some food. So I was like, I'm just going to go get some food. I'll be right back. So I went out to the box office and bought, I don't know, like a sandwich or something. Came back, sat down, and then intermission started.
Oh!
Just because we're so not used to intermissions anymore.
No, I know. I just think in those long ones, it could be really good. I felt like everybody needed to exhale.
Yeah.
There was that they clapped at the end.
Yeah, wow.
The cinema clapped. It was the massive cinema at
full?
Warriewood. And people clapped.
Yeah, wow.
Haven't been in a clapping movie in a long time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, I'm going.
And there was a collective, at the end.
Yeah, that reminds me of the last time I saw 2001: A Space Odyssey in theaters. The intermission happens, for people that have seen the movie, they know what I mean. The intermission happens at the end of the spacewalk scene, where the camera is like you're from the perspective of Dave in the space helmet going out into space for the first time, and the sound is just his breathing so loud from inside the helmet, and it's so claustrophobic.
Oh, that makes me feel
and
sick.
so
just you
tense.
Talking about it,
and
yeah.
it's such an amazing
I get
sequence.
goosebumps.
And then that sequence ends and intermission comes up, and everyone's like, oh, and everyone sort of spills out into the foyer like,
Yes.
oh my God, I need a break. That was so grueling.
Yeah, it is grueling. And
Yeah.
I found that underwater stuff grueling. I had to turn to Ginger at one point and just whisper in her ear and talk about other things
Yeah.
because I needed a gap from it all.
So yeah, if you've seen Mission Impossible 8, let us know what you thought.
Yeah.
My one criticism would be, I think they had to do this, but the first half hour, 40 minutes is a lot of people telling us things, like just exposition dump that is a
setting
little
us
bit
up.
boring.
Yeah, it
like,
was.
And there's
But it
one
was a
bit where
setup.
like he literally straps into a thing and a computer tells us the plot for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was like, you could have done this in a more engaging way, but like it doesn't matter because once all that stuff's out of the way, you're off. Like,
Yeah,
and
totally,
it just doesn't
flying.
stop for another 2.5 hours.
The day before, I'd watched the first part, so I wanted to recap how it went. And so I was fully engaged
Yeah.
from the
I watched it
moment.
again as well.
So
Yeah.
I knew all the characters. I remembered how it worked and the trains and the whole thing.
That train sequence
Oh,
is,
my Lord, it's mad. We better end this podcast, Jonty.
Yeah. Let's wrap it there because otherwise we'll just keep talking about Tom Cruise for another 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. If you want to support us, as always, come to our next show on the 22nd of June. Our merch store is still, as always, up online if you want to buy a shirt or a cap. Those will also be available at our live shows, so come meet us there.
Can't wait.
If you want us to, I don't know, sign it or something, I don't know.
Or not.
Or graffiti them for you. You can obviously, word of mouth is huge. Like so many people that now listen to the show listen to it because you have told them about it. So if you have a friend that you're like, oh, they would probably get a lot out of this show, tell them about it. We'd love you to spread the word. Or leave us a review. Leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. If you write up a little thing, we'll read it out on the show and give you a shout out.
Certainly helps.
Helps in a massive way. And as always, prayerful support is always appreciated. So thank you for those that continue to
support us
in that way as well.
Yep.
If you want to join us on our Facebook group, that's where you hear about things early. So like those live shows, they hear about it first there. The link for that is down below in the Facebook community group. You can join us there and chat about the episodes as they come out.
Cool.
And that's it. Let's get out of here. We've been yakking on for way too long.
Exhausted.
Thanks, Ness.
Have a good sleep tonight.
Yeah, likewise. Once this Red Bull wears off. See you guys next time.
The guilt that